gentlemen, listen to me. When somebody hurts you, when somebody disrespects you, when somebody throws dirt on your name, you got two choices. You can react or you can rise. You can fight back with words or you can fight back with silence and success. And let me tell you, your reaction gives them power, but your calm is your weapon. Your calm is your crown. If you want to be unstoppable, you must master the art of not reacting. The real fight is internal. You think you're fighting people. You're not. You're fighting your thoughts about people. The hurt itself doesn't control you. It's your response to the hurt that shapes your destiny. The person who insulted you, they go home, they sleep, they forget it. But you're up all night, replaying the words. You're carrying them in your head like heavy luggage. That's why I'm telling you, the fight is not external, it's internal. And until you master the war inside, you'll always be a victim of the war outside. When you react, you surrender. You let somebody else press your buttons and move your spirit like a joystick. Think about it. If every insult gets you angry, if every betrayal makes you explode, then you're not in control anymore. They are. You've turned over the keys of your emotions. And the problem is this. If they can control your reaction, they can control your direction. You'll never hit your goals because you'll always be running in circles, chasing after people's words instead of chasing your destiny. Pain as a teacher, not a trigger. Yes, pain is real. Yes, betrayal cuts deep. Yes, disrespect burns. But you have a choice. Let pain trigger you or let pain teach you. When pain triggers you, you lash out. You say things you regret. You act in ways that break your own character. But when pain teaches you, you grow. You learn how to breathe through betrayal. You learn how to stand strong when someone tries to break you. You learn how to keep calm in the storm. Every hurt is a lesson if you let it be. 1 second of reaction can destroy 10 years of progress. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You reacted in anger. You lost a friend. You reacted in frustration. You lost a job. You reacted in pride. You lost an opportunity. Reactions feel good for 5 seconds, but cost you 5 years. Do you really want to sacrifice your future because somebody couldn't control their mouth? Do you really want to lose peace, progress, and prosperity just to prove a point? Listen to me. Never gamble your destiny for a moment of reaction. Champions walk around with a mantra. Every day they remind themselves, nobody controls my mind but me. That's the shield. That's the defense system. You have to own that phrase until it's tattooed in your soul. Because when somebody hurts you, your body will want to react. Your tongue will want to react. But your mind will say, no, I'm in control. Nobody controls my mind but me. And when you win that mental battle, you've already won the war. Oh. So hear me loud and clear. The battlefield is not their words. It's your mind. The weapon is not their disrespect. It's your response. And the victory is not in clapping back. It's in staying calm, staying focused, and refusing to let anybody steal your crown. Write it down. Breathe it in. Repeat it daily. Nobody controls my mind but me. And most people think strength is about volume. They think the person who yells the loudest is the strongest. They think the one who claps back the fastest is the one in control. But that's not strength. That's insecurity dressed up as power. Understand this. A volcano that erupts destroys everything in its path, but it also destroys itself. A person who explodes in reaction looks powerful in the moment, but in reality, they're losing. Real strength is quiet. Real strength is measured. Restraint is the highest form of power. Every time you react, you spend energy. And let's be real, your energy is limited. You need it to build, to create, to chase your goals. Yet, how much of it gets wasted on unnecessary battles? When someone insults you and you explode, you just spend hours of energy recovering. When someone hurts you and you go off, you drain yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually. Think of restraint as an energy-saving mode. When you don't react, you preserve your strength. You protect your reserves. And you keep your energy invested in your vision, not in people who don't matter. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. It confuses the enemy. They expect rage. They expect you to break character. They expect you to fight back. But when you give silence, you flip the script. Now they are uncomfortable. Now they don't know what's going on. Silence makes them question themselves. Silence makes them lose control. And here's the truth. You can't argue with silence. You can't fight someone who won't come down to your level. Silence is the language of mastery. Every time you react in anger, you gambled with your reputation. People don't remember the insult you received. They remember the way you exploded. They don't remember the disrespect you endured. They remember the scene you caused. But restraint, it builds trust. Restraint, it earns respect. Restraint, it protects your name. When emotions are trying to ruin it, understand this. Your legacy is bigger than your ego. And restraint is what keeps legacy intact when ego is demanding reaction. Yeah. Self-control is not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about training discipline. Every time you resist the urge to react, you strengthen your willpower. Think of restraint as a gym for the mind. Each moment you hold back, you're lifting a weight, building muscle in silence. Discipline in small reactions prepares you for bigger challenges. If you can't restrain yourself from small insults, how will you restrain yourself from massive temptations, setbacks, and major betrayals? Restraint is practice for greatness. Look at royalty. Kings, queens, leaders, they don't stop to clap back at every critic. Why? Because they don't have time. They're ruling. They're building nations, not wasting energy on noise. When you choose restraint, you're declaring, I'm royalty. I will not lower myself to street fights. I will not waste my crown on clowns. You're setting a standard that says, my energy is sacred. My focus is too valuable. My mission is too important. That is real power. Most people spend their lives running from pain, avoiding discomfort, and crying about hurt. But hear me clearly, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your signal. Pain is feedback that something has happened, that something is shifting, that something in you is being tested. You can either let pain bury you or let it build you. The people who collapse under pain are the ones who never understood its purpose. Champions take pain and flip it into progress. They say, I will not let this break me. I will let this make me. Every insult, every betrayal, every rejection, those are not stumbling blocks. They're fuel stations. When someone hurts you, you can waste it by reacting, or you can collect it and store it as fuel for your future. Think about a car. It can't move without gas. And you can't grow without pain. Every hurt you face is a new gallon of fuel in your tank. The difference between the broken and the successful is not the amount of pain. It's how they use it. Here's the danger. If you don't use pain the right way, it turns into poison. Reacting is poison. Complaining is poison. Holding grudges is poison. Pain that sits in your system without being transformed will corrode your character, eat your peace, and destroy your future. That's why you've got to flip it quickly. Don't let pain rot you from the inside out. Take that pain, put it under pressure, and make it work for you. Pain can be poison or it can be power. The choice is yours. Stop wasting your anger on arguments that don't matter. Stop throwing your fire on people who don't deserve it. Anger is raw energy. It's power waiting for direction. When you react, you lose it. When you channel it, you win. Take that fire and put it into your work. Put it into your grind. Put it into your health, your study, your craft. Anger without control destroys. Anger with direction builds. Don't let your anger burn bridges. Let it fuel rockets. While your enemies are busy talking, you need to be busy building. While they're busy spreading lies, you need to be busy stacking truth. While they're busy wasting time, you need to be busy creating results. Their words cannot slow you down unless you stop to react. Every time they talk, take it as confirmation that you're on the right path. Let their negativity be proof of your progress. And while they stay stuck in gossip, you'll rise in greatness. Some of the greatest accomplishments in life are born out of pain. Pain wakes you up. Pain reminds you that you're alive. Pain sharpens your focus. When someone hurts you, instead of reacting, stop and ask, what is this pain teaching me? What is this pain preparing me for? Sometimes pain isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's shaping you for something greater. Don't waste it. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Use it. Let's be real. Part of you wants revenge when you're hurt. That's natural. But revenge through reaction is cheap. Revenge through success is eternal. When you refuse to react and instead turn that pain into a higher level of discipline, your success becomes the loudest. People who hurt you don't expect you to rise. They expect you to collapse. But when you rise higher, build stronger, and go further than they ever imagined, your life itself becomes a clapback. Emotions are data, not decisions. You know? When someone hurts you, your emotions scream for attention. But emotions are not commands. They're information. Emotions are data points telling you something happened. Something shifted. The mistake most people make is treating emotions like instructions. You feel anger and immediately lash out. You feel sadness and immediately withdraw. You feel humiliation and immediately strike back. That's weakness. Champions don't move on emotions. They move on principles. Feelings are temporary, but principles are permanent. Stop making permanent moves off temporary emotions. Self-control is the real flex. Anybody can react. Anybody can yell, curse, argue, or post something petty online. That's easy. That's cheap. But it takes power to sit in silence and not give your enemy the satisfaction of seeing you break. It takes real strength to hold your peace when everything inside you wants to explode. Control is not weakness. Control is dominance. When you master your emotions, you own the battlefield. The loudest person isn't the strongest. The most controlled person is. Let's break it down scientifically. When you react instantly, you're operating from your amygdala, your primitive fight or flight center. That's survival mode, not success mode. Success lives in your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that plans, evaluates, and strategizes. When you don't react immediately, you're giving your higher brain time to take control. You're saying, I refuse to let my biology make me basic. I will use my mind to master my moment. Emotional intelligence is the skill that separates leaders from followers. Sometimes silence is louder than words. Silence frustrates your enemies. Silence confuses your critics. Silence disarms your attackers. When you don't react, you take away their control. Because most people who try to hurt you, they're not aiming at your body. They're aiming at your emotions. They want your reaction. They want to see you sweat. They want proof that they got to you. When you give them silence, you take away their trophy. You turn their attack into their embarrassment. When you detach, you rise. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you refuse to be controlled by what you feel. Think of it like martial arts. The master never lets the opponent see panic. The master doesn't swing wildly. The master observes, analyzes, and then moves with precision. Detachment gives you perspective. Detachment gives you power. The higher you rise in life, the more attacks will come. If you don't learn detachment, you'll crumble under pressure. The world has lied to you about what power is. They told you power is shouting louder. They told you power is clapping back harder. They told you power is matching energy. Oh, wrong. That's not power. That's insecurity in disguise. True power is the ability to walk away without needing to explain yourself. True power is being so secure in who you are that someone else's attempt to hurt you feels like noise in the background. Power is not in reacting. Power is in rising above reaction. Emotional energy is currency. Every time you react, you're spending energy. Think about it like money. You only get so much in a day. If you waste your emotional energy on petty arguments, you won't have the energy left for your grind, your purpose, your growth. That's why you feel drained after you react. It's an emotional debt you keep paying. But when you control yourself, you're saving energy. You're compounding energy. You're investing it back into your dreams. Don't spend your emotional wealth on people who aren't even worth minimum wage in your life. Now, let's be honest. Half the time you react, it's not because you're hurt. It's because your ego is bruised. Someone challenged you. Someone disrespected you. Someone made you feel small. And instead of pausing, you let ego take the driver's seat. Ego will always wreck you. Logic is the compass. Logic asks, if I respond, does it move me forward or hold me back? If I react, do I gain ground or lose ground? It's as if 9 times out of 10, ego wants the reaction, but logic says, stay still, stay focused, stay untouchable. Look at any great leader in history. You will not find one who lacked emotional intelligence. Leaders are attacked daily. They're criticized, mocked, lied about, betrayed. But their greatness comes from their refusal to be swayed by every attack. When you master your emotions, you stop being controlled and you start being in control. And that's what makes people follow you. They trust the person who won't crumble when attacked. Emotional mastery doesn't just protect your peace. It elevates your leadership. Forgiveness as a power move. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was right. Forgiveness is declaring, you no longer have power over me. When you don't forgive, you stay tied to the person who hurt you. You keep dragging their offense everywhere you go. But forgiveness, every time you replay the hurt, you lock yourself in a prison cell. Every time you talk about it to others, you tighten the chains. And every time you react, you throw away the key. But when you choose to release it, you walk free. Understand this. The prison was never made by them. It was made by you holding on. Letting go isn't about being nice to them. It's about being good to yourself. Discipline isn't just waking up early, going to the gym, or studying harder. Discipline is saying, I won't let this offense consume me. It takes more discipline to forgive than to fight. Fighting is instinctive. Forgiving is intentional. Anyone can lash back, but it takes training, focus, and vision to release someone who hurt you and keep moving forward. Forgiveness is not emotional. It's strategic discipline for your destiny. Think of forgiveness like economics. Holding on to grudges is debt. It drains you daily. You pay interest in the form of stress, overthinking, and emotional exhaustion. Forgiveness is liquidation. It cancels the debt. It frees up your mental and emotional capital so you can invest it into your future. You can't afford to stay bankrupt in your emotions because of one person's action. Cancel the debt. Clear the books. Reinvest in yourself. One of the main reasons people react when they're hurt is because they crave validation. They want to prove they're right. They want to prove they're strong. They want others to see their side. That's slavery to opinion. Detachment means you no longer need validation to confirm your worth. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. And because of that, you don't need to step into every battle. Detachment is not coldness. It's confidence. Some people say, I can't forgive because I can't forget. You don't have to forget. Forgiveness isn't memory loss. It's memory management. It's choosing to reframe the story. Instead of saying, they hurt me, they destroyed me, you say, they tested me, they shaped me, they prepared me. You don't erase the chapter. You change its meaning. Forgiveness rewrites the narrative so your past becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. Revenge feels good for a moment, but it poisons your future. When you're chasing revenge, you're still chasing them. You're still tied to their timeline, their choices, their story. Detachment is saying, I don't need revenge because my growth is already the answer. My success is already the proof. Detachment pulls you out of their orbit and puts you back into yours. Revenge says, I'll show you. Detachment says, I don't even need to show you. I'll just grow beyond you. There's a spiritual dimension here. Forgiveness is not just psychological, it's spiritual warfare. When you forgive, you protect your soul from bitterness. Bitterness is corrosion of the heart. It slowly eats away at your joy, your gratitude, your faith. Forgiveness keeps your spirit clean. You can't walk in power with a poisoned heart. You can't claim strength if bitterness is eating you alive. Forgiveness isn't just a choice. It's protection for your soul. Studies prove it. People who forgive live longer, healthier lives. Stress, anger, bitterness, they eat away at your body. They elevate your blood pressure, destroy your sleep, weaken your immunity. But forgiveness reduces that weight. You're not carrying their offense in your bloodstream anymore. You're lighter, you're freer, you're healthier. Forgiveness doesn't just build your destiny. It preserves your life. When your heart and mind are cluttered with grudges, there's no room for vision. There's no room for creativity. There's no room for inspiration. Detachment clears the space. It opens the room for greatness to enter. Sometimes your breakthrough is delayed, not because of lack of opportunity, but because your hands are too full holding grudges. Let it go and watch what flows in. When you react, you lose sight of the bigger picture. You shift from your mission to their mess. Every reaction is a distraction. People who hurt you don't just want to bruise your feelings. They want to blind your focus. The moment you react, your goals are no longer in front of you. Their words, their actions, their disrespect take center stage. And while you're distracted, your progress slows down. Focus is a fortress you have to defend. Just like a castle keeps out intruders, your focus must keep out negativity. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, your thoughts, your attention. When you let someone who hurt you live in your head, you're opening the gates to your fortress. Close the gates. Protect your walls. Guard your energy like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. It doesn't take a huge attack to derail someone. Sometimes it's the smallest distractions that cause the biggest delays. One argument, one petty comment, one unnecessary reaction, and suddenly you've wasted hours, sometimes days, dwelling on it. You've lost momentum. The greatest achievers know this. Small distractions lead to major detours. That's why they ignore the noise. That's why they don't waste time fighting every battle. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to respond to every insult. You don't have to prove yourself every time someone questions you. That's wasted energy. True warriors don't fight for pride. They fight for purpose. Every time someone tries to hurt you, ask yourself, if I engage here, does it push me closer to my mission or pull me away from it? If it doesn't serve your mission, it's not your battle. Imagine pouring water into a bucket full of holes. That's your life when you keep reacting to hurt. Your energy leaks out through anger, through arguments, through grudges. By the time you return to your vision, you've got nothing left to pour into it. That's why some people never build momentum. They're too busy patching holes they created by reacting. Seal the leaks. Protect your flow. When you refuse to react, you don't bury the pain. You redirect it. Focus gives your pain a job. Instead of screaming, you start creating. Instead of fighting, you start building. Instead of wasting time, you start winning time back. The pain doesn't disappear. It gets recycled into productivity. That's how you make sure nothing in your life is wasted. Even hurt becomes useful when you stay focused. Every time you stay focused, you send a message to the world, I cannot be moved. People who try to hurt you expect you to break. They expect you to crumble, to react, to lose control. But when you keep working, when you keep grinding, when you stay disciplined, your focus itself becomes the loudest reply. You don't need to explain. You don't need to clap back. Your focus proves them wrong silently. Momentum is built by consistency, but consistency is impossible without focus. Every reaction resets your momentum. Every distraction makes you start over. But when you protect your focus, you create unstoppable force. Day after day, task after task, goal after goal. You build a rhythm that can't be interrupted. And that's when you become dangerous. Not because you reacted, but because you refuse to. Children react instantly. They scream, cry, lash out the moment they feel pain. But maturity is measured by patience. Patience is saying, I could react right now, but I choose not to. It's delaying gratification, delaying defense, delaying ego's demand to clap back. That delay is not weakness. It's strength under control. Every second you hold back is proof that you've leveled up from childish impulse to disciplined maturity. One of the greatest advantages of patience is that time always reveals truth. When you don't react, you give time the chance to show who was wrong and who was right. Lies fade, rumors dissolve, and truth stands strong. But if you react instantly, you rob yourself of that advantage. You end up looking guilty, emotional, unstable. Patience allows you to stand still and let time do the talking for you. A pause can save a life. A pause can save a career. A pause can save a reputation. When hurt comes, patience demands a pause. That pause creates space between emotion and action. That pause gives you breathing room to think. The greatest leaders aren't the ones who act the fastest. They're the ones who know when to pause, evaluate, and then act with wisdom. Your pause can be the difference between regret and respect. Hurt creates a cycle. Someone hurts you, you react, then you hurt them back, and the cycle continues. Patience breaks it. Patience says, the cycle ends with me. By refusing to react, you stop feeding the fire. You stop repeating the pattern. And in that silence, you rise above the chaos. Most people spend their lives stuck in endless cycles because they never had the patience to stop reacting. Explosions are loud, but short-lived. Endurance is quiet, but long-lasting. Reaction is an explosion. You let everything out in a burst of anger or revenge. Patience is endurance. It carries you through the storm without burning out. Endurance always outlasts explosion. The people who can endure pain without reacting are the ones who rise higher. Because storms don't destroy those who wait them out. In war, patience is a strategy. The most dangerous generals don't attack blindly. They wait, they study, they time their move. In life, when hurt comes, patience is your strategy. It allows you to observe your enemy, understand their weakness, and act only when necessary. Without patience, you waste your energy firing shots in the dark. With patience, every move is calculated, every response is intentional, and every victory is decisive. Think of patience like weight training. When you hold the weight longer, your muscles grow. When you hold your emotions longer, your character grows. Every delay in reacting is another rep for your inner strength. You're not avoiding the hurt. You're carrying it, controlling it, building resilience through it. And just like muscles, patience develops only under pressure. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. Reputation takes years to build and seconds to destroy. One reaction out of anger can undo a lifetime of discipline. One careless response can stain your name forever. Patience protects your reputation. It shields you from the embarrassment of words you can't take back and actions you'll regret later. When you hold back, you preserve your character in the eyes of others. And sometimes your silence earns more respect than any response ever could. When someone hurts you and you don't react, you strip their insult of its power. Without your reaction, their words hang in the air, empty and weak. Patience makes their attempt irrelevant. Their fire dies out because you refuse to add fuel. In time, even they realize they wasted their effort. That's the genius of patience. It doesn't just protect you, it nullifies the attack completely. Every great achiever is patient. Athletes train for years before winning a championship. Entrepreneurs build for decades before reaching success. Students study tirelessly before becoming experts. Why should emotional battles be different? Winners apply the same patience to their pain. They don't let a moment of hurt derail a lifetime of progress. They know the one who waits wins. Hurt is an alarm for growth. Pain is not random. Hurt is an alarm clock ringing in your soul, telling you it's time to grow. Every time someone disrespects you, criticizes you, or betrays you, it's a wake-up call. Not to react, not to fight back, but to ask yourself, what in me needs to get stronger? What in me needs to rise? Instead of wasting that alarm by hitting snooze with reaction, use it as a signal for elevation. Revenge through words is temporary. Revenge through growth is permanent. When you take hurt and pour it into self-improvement, you turn every attack into an investment. While they were trying to break you, they unknowingly built you. They became unintentional trainers in your journey. Your growth becomes their defeat. Your progress becomes their punishment. The best clapback is becoming unrecognizable to the version of you that they tried to hurt. Education as a weapon. Don't waste your energy fighting back. Invest it in learning. Hurt is fuel for education. Read more. Train harder. Gain new skills. Every book you finish, every skill you sharpen, every habit you build becomes armor that no insult can pierce. Reaction gives them your energy. Education gives you your future. The more you grow your mind, the less their words can reach you. Because knowledge builds confidence that no hurt can shake. Sometimes the best way to process hurt is to sweat it out. Don't react. Train. Don't argue. Lift. Don't scream, run. Every rep, every step, every workout turns pain into progress. While they're watching for you to crumble, you're building stamina, discipline, and strength. Your body becomes proof that their attempt to break you only built you. Hurt that could have crushed you instead shaped you physically into someone they can't recognize anymore. Self-improvement isn't just physical. It's emotional training. Every time you choose not to react, you're exercising emotional muscle. You're learning to stay calm under fire. You're building resilience. Just like athletes practice to stay sharp, you practice restraint to stay unshaken. Emotional fitness is the ability to take a punch without losing your stance. And every hurt that doesn't make you react makes you stronger for the next round. Most people lose discipline when hurt. They skip routines. They get sloppy. They drown in distraction. But champions use hurt as motivation. They say, if I can endure this pain, I can endure my training. If I can survive this betrayal, I can finish this project. If I can take this insult, I can take one more step toward my dream. Hurt becomes the fire that fuels discipline, not the excuse that kills it. When someone disrespects you, it's often because you allowed low standards in your life. Hurt can teach you where to raise your standards. It pushes you to demand more from yourself, from your relationships, from your environment. Instead of reacting, step back and ask, what standard did I allow that made this possible? How can I elevate so this never happens again? Hurt reveals the gaps where your standards must rise. Some of the greatest art, inventions, and breakthroughs were born from pain. Hurt has a way of pulling out creativity you didn't know you had. Instead of reacting, channel it into creation. Write, paint, build, innovate. Turn the fire into something that lasts longer than the moment. When you create from pain, you don't just heal, you inspire. You take something ugly and transform it into something beautiful. Hurt is a mirror. It reflects back what still triggers you, what still wounds you, what still controls you. Instead of reacting outward, reflect inward. Ask yourself, why did this hurt me so deeply? What does this reveal about me? Where do I need to grow stronger? Self-mastery comes when you stop pointing fingers outward and start using hurt as a tool for inward refinement. Reaction gives you a momentary release, but no progress. Self-improvement gives you lifelong transformation. Every hurt can either be a wall or a stepping stone. When you choose growth, you build a staircase out of your pain. One insult becomes a step. One rejection becomes another. One betrayal becomes another. Before you know it, you're standing at a height they can't reach. Your self-improvement has turned their hurt into your elevation. Anyone can throw words back. Anyone can clap back in the moment. That doesn't require power. It requires impulse. True strength is not in reacting. True strength is in holding silence when everything in you wants to shout. Strength is not flexed in anger. It's flexed in restraint. When you hold your composure, you're telling the world, I control me. Nobody else does. That's leadership. That's influence. Leaders don't get pulled into small battles. Great leaders know they can't waste energy on petty fights. If you're destined for greatness, you don't have time to get tangled in every insult, every criticism, every attempt to pull you down. Leaders pick their battles, and the greatest battle is not against others. It's against self. Every time you choose not to react, you're practicing leadership by showing that your mission is bigger than the moment. People might laugh at you for not reacting in the moment, but deep down, respect grows. Because the one who doesn't flinch, the one who doesn't lose control, the one who doesn't lower themselves, that person is remembered. That person holds authority. Reaction makes you look equal to the one attacking you. Non-reaction makes you look untouchable. Respect is not demanded. It's earned through composure. Sometimes the most powerful influence you have is the response you don't give. Non-reaction is communication. It tells others. It tells others, I'm bigger than this. I won't waste my breath. I'm built different. Influence is not just what you say. It's how you handle moments of pressure. The world watches how you respond when tested. And when you choose non-reaction, you set a standard people aspire to follow. When you react, you leak energy. Every argument drains your focus. Every clapback steals time from your purpose. Leaders guard their energy because they know vision requires full fuel. Non-reaction isn't weakness. It's energy management. It's refusing to give your power away to someone who doesn't deserve it. You keep your energy locked on the vision, not scattered on the distractions. When you choose not to react, you're not just saving yourself. You're teaching others. Your team, your family, your peers, they're all watching. They learn how to handle pressure by watching you. If you blow up, they learn to blow up. If you stay calm, they learn to stay calm. Non-reaction becomes a lesson, a silent training ground where you show others how to carry themselves with dignity. Authority is not about a title, a position, or money. Authority is about self-control. People follow those who can control themselves under pressure. The one who stays calm when insulted, who stays steady when attacked, who keeps composure when criticized. That's the one who carries authority. Your silence speaks louder than their noise. Authority is not given. It's developed through self-mastery. Reputation is built in moments of pressure. People don't remember how you acted when things were easy. They remember how you acted when you were under fire. Every time you don't react, you're stacking bricks on your reputation. You're building a wall that says, this person can't be rattled. Over time, you become known not as someone who fights back, but as someone who rises above. That reputation creates opportunities that reaction could never unlock. Silence is not absent, it's strategy. Sometimes the best move is no move. Non-reaction puts you in control of timing. It keeps your opponent guessing. It protects you from saying something that could be used against you. Silence positions you for a bigger win down the road. Reacting may feel good now, but silence keeps doors open for later victories. Leaders think long-term, not short-term. People who try to hurt you expect reaction. They feed on your anger. But when you give them nothing, you starve their ego. They're left confused, powerless, watching you continue to rise. Non-reaction doesn't just silence them. It converts them into spectators of your success. They can't stop you. They can't touch you. And now they're forced to watch you win while their attacks fade into irrelevance. What you model today becomes part of your legacy tomorrow. People won't remember the petty fights you avoided. They'll remember the empire you built because you didn't waste time reacting. Non-reaction creates consistency. Consistency creates trust. Trust creates legacy. And legacy is what remains long after the noise is gone. Your ability to not react shapes how people will speak about you when you're not in the room and long after you're gone. The real war isn't with people. It's with your thoughts. When someone hurts you, the battle begins in your head. Reaction hands them the keys to your mind. Non-reaction says, I own my peace. I own my thoughts. I control what lives inside me. The battlefield is not out there. It's in here. Win the war in your mind, and you win the war of life. Your mind is a limited container. If you fill it with bitterness, anger, and reactions, there's no space left for vision, creativity, or strategy. Non-reaction is not avoidance. It's preservation. It's guarding the fuel of your mental energy so you can pour it into building, not burning. Reaction ties you to the person who hurt you. Non-reaction cuts the chain. Every time you react, you're saying, you own a part of me. You pull the strings. But when you choose silence, you walk free. You stop being a puppet, and you become the master of your own emotional destiny. Don't get it twisted. Peace is not weakness. Peace is power. Because when you refuse to let someone drag you into chaos, you win. You show them, I'm not entering your storm. I'm standing in my calm. Peace is not passive. Peace is active dominance over your spirit. Reaction blurs your vision. Anger clouds your judgment. But stillness sharpens clarity. When you don't react, you give yourself space to think, evaluate, and decide wisely. Clarity doesn't come in chaos. It comes in calm. Non-reaction is the pause that saves you from decisions you'd regret later. Just like muscles grow under pressure, the mind grows when tested. Every hurt you don't react to is mental weightlifting. You're strengthening endurance. You're teaching your brain, I can take this. I can handle more. I won't break. Non-reaction is not escape. It's training. It's building the toughness to carry bigger responsibilities without collapsing. Words can be twisted, used, thrown back at you. But silence cannot be weaponized. When you don't react, you protect yourself. Your silence becomes your shield. People can aim their arrows, but they pass right through. Non-reaction is your invisible armor against emotional attacks. Your outer world reflects your inner state. If you're reactive, your life will always be chaos. If you're calm inside, you carry power outside. Non-reaction aligns your inner and outer worlds. People feel it when you walk into a room. Your calm speaks louder than their noise. Sometimes the best answer is time. Non-reaction buys you patience, and patience buys you wisdom. While they burn out their energy in noise, you're saving yours for the right moment. Non-reaction is not about ignoring. It's about waiting for the right time to act with precision, not impulse. Mental mastery, life mastery. If you can master your reactions, you can master your life. Business, relationships, health, all of it requires control over impulses. The person who can hold silence in pain can also hold discipline in temptation, focus in distraction, consistency in difficulty. Non-reaction is not just about people. It's about training yourself for mastery in every area of life. Listen, when they hurt you, they're trying to steal your peace. When they insult you, they're trying to invade your mind, but you don't let them in. You don't hand them your keys. You don't react. Because every time you rise above, instead of striking back, you're not just keeping your peace, you're building your power. Yeah, you want mental mastery? You want inner peace? You want to live untouchable? Then never give them the reaction they crave. Protect your mind. Guard your energy. Build your calm. Because the one who owns their peace owns their power. And the one who owns their power wins.